Hello buddy, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about how to position your keyboard when playing Rainbow Six Siege. In this video we're going to be pretty much talking about um, three different keyboards and how to position them. So let's start off with the smallest keyboard that um, that doesn't have a arrow keys or a numpad. So with this kind of keyboard, I would recommend running fully vertical or slightly slanted. And this is all of my opinion, and I'm not trying to force you to position your keyboard this way. So you have the free will to position however you want, but these are just my recommendations, and I'm just trying to, like explore and see how other people react to playing with these kind of keyboards. Um, so yeah, the smallest keyboard I would recommend playing either fully vertical or slightly slanted, only because it's the smallest, and your whole arm has a little bit more room to pretty much fit in. And if you are right-handed with like me, where right hand sits on your mouse, I have to pretty much lean forward to pretty much play with my hand on the WASD keys so that it is pretty much as comfortable as possible for me. Now, I have a pretty big keyboard with the arrow keys and the numpad, and that will be the next point that I will go over. But I really want to touch on one other thing. Um, when I was playing with fully vertical, you can see it in this video when I was playing Ash and Zofia. Both of those times I had my keyboard fully vertical, and if you watch closely to my movements, some of them are pretty slow, and they're not really, um, I would say, like as fast as I could possibly push myself to be. Um, Now the one that I have, which is the keyboard that has arrow keys and the numpad. Now, with this, I would recommend running either fully horizontal or slightly slanted. And I run a little bit of both, but I mostly run slightly slanted because um it gives me it's not really that far to reach any other keys on the other end. Um and I kind of like having to kind of reach out, but I don't like having my arm pretty much in my actually not my arm, my hand pretty much facing fully horizontal, so I have to reach WAS and D. So with slightly slanted, I can have the reach to pretty much stay on WAS and D and still reach the letter K on my keyboard. Um, but um, the downside of this is you still have to reach out a little bit. But I kind of like that. Um, so now let's talk about the keyboard that has only arrow keys and no numpad. Um, so in this, I would also recommend running slightly slanted or fully horizontal. Mostly because um, I don't think I remember saying this, but when I was playing fully vertical, the end of my keyboard that was facing towards me, it would poke out at me. So if I were to lean forward, it would hit my chest, and I didn't really like that. So because this doesn't have um, the numpad, depending on your desk size and your mouse pad wise, or your size, I recommend running either slightly slanted so it doesn't hit you in the chest or fully horizontal. Um, but if you want to do fully vertical, it's fine. If you do seem to have a keyboard without the numpad, but with the arrow keys and the letter keys and all them, um, go ahead and tell me down below how it kind of feels. Because I'm also looking to get a keyboard without the arrow keys or the numpad. Um, but yeah, that's it for the keyboard portion. Now I want to talk about the mouse. So mouses are pretty important in pretty much any first-person shooter video game because that's how you pretty much aim and shoot your gun. So now I would recommend I actually have a wireless mouse, but sometimes I also uh run the mouse with the wire, because I like to play some video games while I'm charging my mouse. Um, and what I would say is, there's really, when it comes to wireless and wired mouses, um, it's just a pretty much a preference at that point. Um, but where I do want to come in is the actual wire itself. Um, so with the wire, um, the two ones that I'm mentioning are pretty much the wire that have kind of rubber outside and ones that have like a cloth type of outside to them. So the one that I recommend is the cloth ones. Mostly because I actually have holes that you know that help me keep my wires in one place so that they aren't like everywhere all over my desk. So my wire is actually rubber wire, and when my rubber wire goes into that hole and I'm playing, it restricts me from moving my mouse up and down. Um, because of that rubber wire, it rubs against the edge of the holes, and it pretty much it causes friction, and then it doesn't really glide as smooth as I'd like it to be. Um, and that could pretty much affect your whole game. So I would really recommend running a cloth, um, a cloth mouse wire. Um, Now let's talk about like headsets pretty much. So headsets and headphones. To be honest, I don't really recommend either of them only because I've only had experience with headsets, so I don't want to pretty much be biased about anything and pretty much give you the wrong tips for Siege. Um, but I have had around three different headsets that I've played with in Siege, and they all do the same thing. Um, it just comes to the fact that if you're having problems with your headset where you're not hearing footsteps either behind you, to the right of you, etc., um, look into getting a new one. Because audio in Rainbow Six it plays a really big part. So you don't want to be at a disadvantage, and that disadvantage pretty much ruin um your fun in the game. Um, but yeah, that's gonna do it for this tips and tricks video. I'm sorry that I haven't been putting out a lot of videos lately, but yeah, I'm gonna try to keep going and pump them out as fast as possible. So if you enjoyed, go ahead and leave a like down below. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications on. Um, and yeah, that's it. Have a nice rest of your day.